Hey guys, it's your best boxing friends. I'm Kelsey. This is Rachel. The moment is unfolding right before you people. And you know what's in your moment right now? These two people.
Okay.
Rachel spent the first part of this week, or at least most of this week, covering UFC 247, which is part of my new job with Heavy and Bleacher Report, which has been going on for a little bit. And I've covered the UFC a little bit for like 2 years now, right? However, this is the first time I've had the opportunity to go to an event because it's here in Houston. John Jones fights Dominic Reyes at UFC 247 at the Toyota Center. So all the press stuff is here, so I was like, I'm gonna go to that, right? And so it's been really awesome, but it's revealed to me, Kelsey. I've been to we got mounds of credentials for boxing matches all over the greater state area. No, I mean, we've been all over the place to see boxing matches. Whenever I say boxing fights, that's not how people say it. Somebody asked me that the other day. How do you say it, boxing? Is a boxing fight a thing? I'm like, I don't think so. I've never really heard that before. Now I can't get it out of my head.
Anyway, you were at a media event for UFC today.
Yeah.
And what you noticed is that things were kind of running smoothly, put together.
I walked in and they were like, welcome to the UFC. We are a well-oiled machine. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? They were like, it's the future. Except the future is now. What?
So we just, Kelsey was telling me about that, and our experience with boxing has been that it's, whenever we do the media stuff, it's different event to event. Sometimes things fall apart. Sometimes you think there's going to be a press conference and then there's not.
The old switcheroo. That happens a good 65% of the time. Press conference will be after the thing. And they're like, no press conference. Psych. See ya.
And we were just talking about, well, yeah, because, perhaps because UFC is under a single authority.
An umbrella,
and
if you will.
Boxing is not. And so when you don't have that, it kind of leaves like nobody takes on that responsibility from place to place. You know what I mean? Event to event. So should certain things happen before any event? Like maybe, but like you can't just hope that everybody from event to event does it. You know
so let me just address some of those things. I think that, event to event, but at the same time, you could implement the good things, some of the good things that the UFC, I've seen the UFC do at least, promotion by promotion, because Top Rank runs their stuff, Golden Bell runs their stuff, and the PBC, which is not a promoter, but rather entity that includes promoters, managers, and most notably Al Heyman, could learn some of it. And I think originally I read a long time ago that the PBC wanted to be more like the UFC. Well, here's what I saw at the UFC, just to get to the point. The stuff that they have makes the fighters available to media and to fans, unlike a way that I've ever seen in boxing. Yesterday, there was an event where they had a host, they invited fans to it, they invited the media, and then the fighters were there and they answered questions that were from social media. So you get that engagement, right? And then when they were done with their little part, it wasn't that long for each of the people. It wasn't all the fighters. It was the fighters that were on the top of the card. Fighters went around and took pictures and signed autographs and talked to people. I've seen some of that in boxing sometimes, but it's never part of this thing. This was part of the thing from the beginning. The host, John Anik, even told the people, hey, we'll get the fighters to come around, right? I've actually been one of the first press events I went to, not as a press, just as a fan, was for Floyd Mayweather versus Oscar De La Hoya. It was here in Houston, right? And Floyd went around and signed autographs and talked to people and all that stuff for everybody. That was not on the schedule. He was late for his flight. He missed his flight to Dallas. Everything got moved.
Where you got that?
Right, and I have that. He signed that and drew that stuff on Oscar's face a long time ago. But what I'm saying is that was something that Floyd just did. It wasn't something that was built into the event. So the thing I'm getting at is I would like to see boxing be more engaging with fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, give the fans more opportunities to interact with the fighters, whether it's through social media or at the event. And then with the press, I'm telling you today at the press event, I have not had access like this in boxing without knowing a guy, right? Like maybe if you know the PR guy or somebody on the team or whatever, and you're like, hey,
Did you feel like the press had to like, when we worked for Boxing Channel, how it was like there was a lot of pressure because we had to try to get
well,
interviews and we had to scramble for it and like.
I mean, there's always a tiny smidge of that in all press events when you're all trying to get the same stuff. But this thing, it wasn't like there. Part of the pressure was put on ourselves because that's how we got paid. But part of the other pressure there is, and I even heard people talk about it today, the media in boxing, I don't know what about it, but people are just like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, this was not like that there. People were nice. People were like professional and respectful. And so it was a really nice experience. I would love to see all that stuff that and boxing promoters maybe can't control. UFC can't really control that, but or not to my any way that comes to my head. But what they can control is how available all the fighters were, all the opportunities there were to talk to whoever you wanted to talk to, and that helps the UFC. That's helped the UFC grow massively over the last 20 years. And while boxing has grown as well, boxing's growth is more over the last 20 years at least, just like regular growth due to the population growth of the United States. I don't think it's growing at the same rate.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see that happen. And I do like what I see from boxing with ESPN Plus and with the Zone and all the new things with the PBC's thing with Fox. All that's great. They're all doing a lot to grow the sport. These are just some maybe constructive ideas that maybe could help the sport grow more.
And my question is like I don't know how helpful it is to the sport. So when you have fight week and the fighters make themselves available for these different things, a panel, autograph signings, like this kind of stuff, my first concern is like, hey, this guy's about to get in the ring. Like maybe he needs to be focused on the fight, Like I have concern about the fighter being distracted. Like it kind of like just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And like furthermore is I'm like, well, I feel like if you just eliminated this fight week stuff, I don't know how helpful it is to the event or to the sport overall. For example, like I'm a fan of the Green Bay Packers. I've never been to any event stuff for the Green Bay Packers. I'm still a fan. Like I'm a fan of just all kinds of stuff like that. Like there's plenty of big fights that have come and gone where I haven't been involved in any of the press stuff or covering it. I'm just like, hey, these are two great fighters and I want to see them in the ring. I don't care if they're signing autographs like before. So I feel like that stuff is a gift. Like it's a bonus for like fans and even press and stuff. But I just don't know like how necessary it is. I honestly like don't know how necessary it is to provide all this access to the press. I'm like, you mean to tell me like the press isn't going to cover the NFL if they don't give them special seats somewhere to cover the NFL? Like the fact that there's this many fans drives like all the merchandising, all the like press. Like they're going to cover it because fans love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Rachel, basically, no more press, no more autographs, nothing. You better just watch the fight. I like it, Rachel. Rachel rules with an iron fist.
I will say
the hell with all of it.
This could be just me because I am not very interested in all that kind of stuff.
I'll say that I don't
that
have a very...
Maybe you're watching this and you're like, what? No, it's so important. Like maybe you have a different opinion. Go ahead and let me know because it might just be me.
At a very high level, the reason that they do all this stuff with the press, the reason they do all these events is to drive interest in the fight, to sell tickets, which is their goal, and to get people to buy the pay-per-view. And that's why they do it. I don't think it's...
But fight week even? Like you...
Yeah, they're still wanting to sell tickets right now.
I guess it works. I guess they have data to show.
In fact, most of the stuff that you read about it, most of the content around a particular event is fight week. Fight week's a big deal on the side of where you're trying to get people to hit that button to buy that pay-per-view. This is a big week.
Yeah, so it might just be me then.
If you're already a hardcore fan, yeah.
Like maybe I don't go to stuff like this. I don't particularly enjoy it. I wouldn't do this stuff like as a fan. Like it just doesn't. So it might just
go to
be
the events that are for fans.
yeah, like
I know,
you're
I thought
trying
of you,
to get me
invited
to
you.
like buy tickets to something. Like this isn't the way to do it.
Right. I thought I invited you to some of the UFC events, but I was like, she wouldn't want to go there. Rachel doesn't like to leave the house. I hardly like to leave the house. You know.
So it might just be like, people made different ways. But I just wonder, I get that like it helps with like this, I don't know, maybe like a couple thousand people, but it just feels like we're dealing in bigger numbers in this. And I'm like, it really matters to like these bigger numbers, Like that's where I like
I'll
wonder.
tell you where numbers do matter. It's subscriber counts.
They do.
We're one away from 900 last time I saw. Now, I don't know if that's changed because it's been a few hours. So hopefully, let's just go ahead and celebrate. It's probably going to be 2 down now.
People will unsubscribe because of this.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. Come back and see us again if you want. Whatever. Play hard to get a little bit. Or don't.